Confidence is not something you're born with. It is something you build by defeating fear, silencing doubt, and refusing to let the opinions of ordinary people control your life. The world doesn't reward the timid. It rewards those who move with certainty, even when they don't have all the answers. In the next few minutes, you're about to discover the mindset that transforms hesitation into unstoppable confidence. This video won't just motivate you, it will make you dangerously confident. Confidence is rarely destroyed by failure. More often, it is destroyed by the voice inside your own mind. Before the world ever doubts you, you have already doubted yourself. Before someone tells you that you are not good enough, you have repeated those words to yourself hundreds of times. Self-doubt is invisible, but its effects can be seen everywhere. It convinces talented people to stay silent, intelligent people to hesitate, and capable people to settle for lives far below their true potential. The greatest prison is not built with walls. It is built with limiting beliefs that convince you to accept less than what you are capable of becoming. Every successful person has faced uncertainty. The difference is not that they were fearless. The difference is that they refused to let fear become their identity. Most people wait until they feel confident before taking action. That moment rarely comes. Confidence is created through action, not before it. Every time you choose courage over comfort, your belief in yourself becomes stronger. Every time you avoid a challenge because of fear, your self-doubt becomes stronger. Your daily choices determine which voice grows louder inside your mind. Self-doubt often disguises itself as logic. It tells you that you need more preparation, more knowledge, more experience, or better timing. While preparation is valuable, endless preparation without action becomes another form of fear. There will never be a perfect moment to begin. There will always be uncertainty. Those who achieve extraordinary things understand that progress is made by moving despite uncertainty, not by waiting for certainty to appear. Many people compare themselves to others and immediately feel inadequate. They look at someone else's achievements without seeing the years of struggle, rejection, sacrifice, and discipline behind those achievements. Comparison steals confidence, because it forces you to measure your beginning against someone else's middle or even their finish. Your journey is unique. Your pace is different. The only comparison that truly matters is whether you are becoming stronger than the person you were yesterday. Your environment also shapes your confidence more than you realize. If you spend your time around people who constantly criticize, complain, and discourage ambition, self-doubt becomes normal. Negative voices slowly become your own inner voice. Protect your mind by choosing environments that challenge you to grow rather than convince you to stay comfortable. The people around you should inspire discipline, courage, and progress instead of feeding fear and insecurity. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that mistakes define their worth. Failure is simply information. It reveals what works and what does not. Every setback contains lessons that cannot be learned from success alone. The people you admire have experienced rejection far more times than most people realize. Their confidence was not built by avoiding failure. It was built by surviving it repeatedly until failure no longer frightened them. Your mind remembers the stories you repeatedly tell yourself. If you constantly say that you are unlucky, incapable, or destined to fail, your brain begins searching for evidence to support those beliefs. If instead you tell yourself that every challenge makes you stronger, every obstacle teaches you something valuable, and every setback prepares you for greater opportunities, your thinking begins to change. Confidence grows from the stories you choose to believe about yourself. Comfort is one of the greatest enemies of confidence. Staying inside familiar routines may feel safe, but it slowly convinces your mind that you cannot handle anything unfamiliar. Every small challenge you avoid strengthens fear. Every challenge you face weakens it. Confidence expands every time you step beyond your comfort zone. It is not built in moments of ease. It is built in moments where your heart races, your hands shake, and you choose to move forward anyway. Perfectionism is another hidden form of self-doubt. Many people delay their dreams because they want everything to be flawless before they begin. They wait for the perfect plan, the perfect skill set, or the perfect opportunity. Meanwhile, confident people accept imperfection and improve through consistent action. Progress always defeats perfection because every step forward teaches lessons that endless planning never can. Discipline creates confidence in ways motivation never will. Motivation rises and falls depending on emotions. Discipline remains steady regardless of how you feel. When you consistently keep promises to yourself, you begin trusting yourself. That trust becomes confidence. Every workout completed, every book finished, every difficult conversation faced, and every commitment honored sends a powerful message to your mind that you are becoming someone who follows through. Another powerful way to destroy self-doubt is by focusing on contribution instead of approval. When your attention is fixed on helping others, solving problems, and creating value, you stop obsessing over how people perceive you. Fear grows when your focus is inward. Confidence grows when your focus is outward. Instead of asking whether people will like you, ask whether your actions will make a positive difference. There will always be critics. Some will question your decisions because your ambition reminds them of the dreams they abandoned. Others will misunderstand your intentions because they judge everything through the limits of their own experience. If you allow every opinion to influence your direction, you will spend your life chasing approval instead of purpose. Strong confidence requires the ability to hear criticism without allowing it to define your identity. Every day presents a choice. You can allow self-doubt to make your decisions, or you can choose courage despite uncertainty. Fear may never disappear completely, but it does not have to control your future. The moment you stop waiting for permission, stop waiting for perfection, and stop waiting to feel ready, you begin unlocking the potential that has been waiting inside you all along. Confidence is not reserved for a lucky few. It is earned by those who repeatedly choose action over excuses, growth over comfort, belief over fear, and persistence over surrender. Most people spend their lives chasing something they will never fully receive: validation from others. They want approval before making a decision, recognition before taking a risk, and applause before believing in themselves. This dependence on external validation quietly destroys confidence because it places your self-worth in the hands of people who neither understand your journey nor carry the responsibility of your future. The moment you allow others to decide your value, you surrender your personal power. Think about how many dreams have died because someone feared being judged. Countless people never start businesses because they worry about criticism. They never speak up because they fear rejection. They never pursue the life they truly want because they are too concerned with what relatives, friends, co-workers, or strangers might think. They become prisoners of opinions that often disappear as quickly as they appear. The tragedy is not that people criticize you. The tragedy is allowing those opinions to become stronger than your own vision. The truth is that people are usually too focused on their own lives to think about yours for very long. Everyone carries personal struggles, responsibilities, fears, and ambitions. Yet your mind convinces you that every mistake will be remembered forever. This illusion creates hesitation and anxiety. In reality, most people move on quickly, while you continue replaying moments that no one else even remembers. Once you understand this, you become far less afraid of taking bold action. Seeking validation often begins during childhood. Many people grow up believing they earn love through achievement, obedience, or perfection. They learn to associate acceptance with pleasing others. As adults, this mindset follows them into every area of life. They seek approval from employers, partners, friends, and even strangers online. Their mood depends on compliments. Their confidence rises with praise and collapses with criticism. This emotional dependence creates instability because it gives other people control over how they feel. Real confidence begins when you stop asking for permission to become who you are meant to be. Your dreams do not require unanimous agreement. Every great innovator, leader, entrepreneur, artist, and visionary faced doubt from others before achieving success. If they had waited until everyone believed in them, nothing extraordinary would have happened. History consistently rewards those who trusted their vision long before anyone else could see it. Another danger of seeking validation is that it encourages you to become someone you are not. Instead of expressing your authentic thoughts, you say what others want to hear. Instead of pursuing meaningful goals, you pursue impressive appearances. You begin living for applause instead of fulfillment. The more you shape your identity around other people's expectations, the further you drift from your true potential. Authenticity disappears, replaced by performance. Social media has intensified this problem. Many people measure their value by likes, followers, comments, and views. They become addicted to digital approval, allowing numbers on a screen to determine how they feel about themselves. While recognition can be encouraging, it should never become the foundation of your confidence. Algorithms change, trends disappear, public attention fades. If your identity depends on external recognition, your confidence will constantly rise and fall with circumstances beyond your control. Power belongs to those who remain emotionally independent. This does not mean ignoring all feedback. Constructive criticism can be valuable when it comes from people who genuinely want to help you grow. The key is learning to separate useful advice from meaningless opinions. Not every voice deserves influence over your decisions. Some people criticize because they fear change. Others criticize because your ambition exposes their own excuses. Wisdom comes from knowing whose opinions deserve your attention and whose opinions should simply pass by without affecting your direction. One of the strongest signs of confidence is the ability to make decisions without needing universal approval. Confident individuals gather information, consider consequences, trust their judgment, and move forward. They understand that no decision will satisfy everyone. Trying to please everyone guarantees that you eventually disappoint yourself. Leadership requires accepting that disagreement is inevitable. Building personal power also means accepting responsibility for your life. It is easy to blame circumstances, criticism, or lack of support for staying stuck. However, true confidence grows when you recognize that your future depends primarily on your own choices. Every decision you make either strengthens your independence or increases your dependence on others. Responsibility may feel heavy at first, but it eventually becomes liberating because it reminds you that your future is still within your control. Another important shift is learning to celebrate your own progress instead of waiting for others to acknowledge it. Every disciplined morning, every completed goal, every challenge overcome, and every promise kept to yourself deserves recognition. When you become your own source of encouragement, outside praise becomes a bonus rather than a necessity. You stop chasing approval because you already know the effort you invested and the obstacles you overcame. There will always be people who misunderstand your intentions. Some will underestimate your abilities. Others will question your decisions simply because they would never have the courage to make them themselves. Their opinions cannot define your future unless you allow them to. Every moment spent trying to convince people to believe in you is energy taken away from proving yourself through action. The strongest form of confidence is quiet. It does not demand attention. It does not seek constant reassurance. It simply continues moving forward, regardless of applause or criticism. It understands that lasting success is built through consistent action, disciplined thinking, and unwavering belief in one's purpose, rather than temporary approval from the crowd. The moment you stop living to impress others and begin living according to your values, your personal power becomes impossible to take away. Your greatest battle is not against other people, it is against your own mind. Every decision you make, every opportunity you miss, every relationship you build, and every goal you achieve is influenced by the quality of your thoughts and the way you manage your emotions. If your mind controls you, your life becomes unpredictable. If you learn to control your mind, you become someone who remains focused, disciplined, and confident regardless of what is happening around you. Most people react emotionally to everything. A single insult ruins their day. One rejection convinces them to quit. One failure makes them question their abilities. They allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. This is one of the greatest mistakes anyone can make. Emotions are real, but they are not always reliable. They change from moment to moment. If you let every emotion control your actions, your direction in life will constantly change, leaving you stuck in cycles of inconsistency. Your mind naturally seeks comfort, certainty, and immediate pleasure. It wants to avoid discomfort, delay difficult work, and protect you from anything unfamiliar. While this instinct once helped humans survive, it often prevents modern people from reaching their potential. Growth requires discomfort. Success requires uncertainty. Confidence requires repeatedly doing things that initially feel intimidating. Learning to recognize the difference between genuine danger and imagined fear is essential for developing mental strength. Negative thoughts appear in every person's mind. The difference is that mentally strong individuals do not automatically believe every thought they have. They observe their thinking instead of becoming controlled by it. Just because your mind tells you that you are not ready does not mean it is telling the truth. Just because you feel afraid does not mean you are incapable. Your thoughts are suggestions, not commands. The moment you realize this, you begin reclaiming control over your own life. One of the most effective ways to strengthen your mind is by practicing discipline when your emotions encourage excuses. There will be mornings when you do not feel like working. There will be days when motivation disappears completely. Those are the moments that define your character. Anyone can perform when they feel inspired. Very few people continue when they feel tired, discouraged, or uncertain. Every time you act according to your values instead of your emotions, your mental resilience becomes stronger. Patience is another sign of emotional mastery. Many people expect immediate results from every effort. When success does not arrive quickly, frustration takes over. They abandon their goals just before progress begins to appear. Strong-minded individuals understand that meaningful achievements require time. They focus on consistent effort rather than instant rewards. They understand that seeds do not become trees overnight, and neither does greatness. Emotional control also means refusing to let anger become your leader. Anger can cloud judgment, damage relationships, and destroy opportunities within moments. People who cannot control their temper often spend years repairing the consequences of decisions made in seconds. True strength is not proving that you can overpower someone else. True strength is proving that you can remain calm when others lose control. A composed mind sees opportunities that an emotional mind completely overlooks. Fear is another emotion that quietly controls millions of lives. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, and fear of uncertainty keep people trapped inside routines they no longer enjoy. The interesting truth is that courage does not eliminate fear. Courage simply refuses to let fear make the final decision. Every successful person has acted while feeling uncertain. They understood that waiting until fear disappeared would mean waiting forever. Your environment influences your emotional state more than you may realize. Constant exposure to negativity, complaints, gossip, and pessimism gradually changes the way you think. The people you spend time with either strengthen your mindset or weaken it. Choose relationships that encourage responsibility, growth, discipline, and optimism. Protecting your mind is just as important as protecting your physical health, because every thought you repeatedly entertain eventually shapes your behavior. Learning to pause before reacting is a powerful habit. Many conflicts occur because people respond immediately without thinking. A few moments of reflection can prevent unnecessary arguments, poor decisions, and emotional regret. Calmness creates clarity. When your emotions are intense, your judgment often becomes weak. By slowing your reactions, you give wisdom the opportunity to replace impulse. Gratitude is another powerful mental discipline. The human mind naturally focuses on problems, threats, and what is missing. While solving problems is necessary, constantly focusing on lack creates dissatisfaction, even when life is progressing well. Appreciating what you already have strengthens emotional stability. Gratitude does not make you complacent. It gives you the emotional balance needed to pursue greater goals without becoming consumed by frustration. Your self-talk deserves careful attention because you hear your own voice more than anyone else's. If you constantly criticize yourself, exaggerate your mistakes, and underestimate your strengths, your confidence slowly disappears. Replace destructive internal conversations with honest but encouraging ones. Acknowledge your weaknesses without allowing them to define your identity. Focus on solutions instead of repeatedly reliving failures. The quality of your internal dialogue becomes the foundation of your external performance. Mental strength is built through small daily decisions rather than dramatic moments. Waking up when you promised yourself you would. Finishing work even when distractions appear. Remaining respectful when someone else behaves poorly. Staying focused despite uncertainty. Choosing long-term growth instead of short-term comfort. These simple actions gradually transform the way you think and respond to life. The world will continue presenting obstacles, criticism, setbacks, and unexpected challenges. You cannot control every situation, but you can always control the mindset you bring into it. When your thoughts become disciplined and your emotions become servants rather than masters, you develop a level of confidence that cannot be shaken by temporary failures, outside opinions, or changing circumstances. That is the kind of inner power that separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. Presence is one of the rarest forms of power. Long before you speak, people begin forming opinions about you through the way you carry yourself, the way you enter a room, the way you make eye contact, and the energy you project. Many people believe respect is earned only through titles, wealth, or status, but true presence comes from something much deeper. It comes from inner confidence, emotional stability, and complete control over yourself. A person who has mastered these qualities naturally commands attention without demanding it. Most people unintentionally weaken their own presence. They constantly seek approval, apologize for every small thing, speak too quickly, laugh nervously, avoid eye contact, and allow others to interrupt them. These habits communicate uncertainty, even if they are highly talented. People respond not only to your words, but also to the signals your behavior sends. If your actions reveal insecurity, others will often treat you according to that perception. Strong presence begins with self-respect. If you do not value yourself, it becomes difficult to expect others to value you. Self-respect is reflected in the standards you maintain, the promises you keep to yourself, and the boundaries you refuse to compromise. Every time you tolerate disrespect, ignore your principles, or betray your own values to please someone else, your confidence weakens. Every time you stand firmly for what matters, your presence becomes stronger. Silence is one of the most underestimated forms of strength. Many people feel uncomfortable with quiet moments, so they fill every pause with unnecessary words. Confident individuals understand that silence creates authority. They do not rush to explain themselves or prove their intelligence. They choose their words carefully because they know that thoughtful speech carries more weight than endless conversation. People who constantly talk often reveal insecurity, while those who speak with intention naturally attract attention. Body language communicates more than most people realize. Standing upright, maintaining calm eye contact, moving with purpose, and avoiding restless movements all send signals of confidence. You do not need aggressive gestures or exaggerated expressions to appear powerful. Calmness itself is powerful. When you appear relaxed under pressure, people assume you possess inner strength. They begin trusting your judgment because your behavior suggests stability rather than panic. Emotional control is another essential part of commanding respect. Anyone can remain calm when life is easy. Real strength appears when circumstances become difficult. If every criticism provokes anger or every disagreement causes frustration, people quickly recognize emotional weakness. The individual who remains composed while others become emotional gains influence without raising their voice. Calmness allows clear thinking, better decisions, and greater credibility. Another mistake people make is trying too hard to impress others. They exaggerate achievements, seek constant attention, or compete for recognition in every conversation. Ironically, this behavior usually has the opposite effect. True confidence does not need constant advertisement. It allows results to speak louder than words. People naturally respect individuals who remain humble while consistently demonstrating competence through their actions. Your appearance also contributes to your presence. This is not about wearing expensive clothing or chasing luxury brands. It is about presenting yourself with care and discipline. Cleanliness, proper grooming, good posture, and attention to detail communicate self-respect. When you treat yourself with dignity, others are more likely to do the same. The small habits you maintain every day shape the first impression you leave on everyone you meet. Listening is another quality that separates respected individuals from those who constantly seek validation. Most people listen only long enough to prepare their next response. Now, truly confident people listen to understand. They give others their full attention without feeling the need to dominate every conversation. This creates trust because people feel valued when they are genuinely heard. Ironically, those who listen well often gain more influence than those who speak the most. Boundaries are equally important. Many people sacrifice their own peace because they are afraid of disappointing others. They agree to everything, tolerate disrespect, and remain available at all times. While kindness is valuable, people often respect those who know when to say no. Healthy boundaries communicate that your time, energy, and values have worth. Respect grows when people recognize that you cannot be easily manipulated or pressured into abandoning your principles. Confidence is also reflected in your ability to handle criticism. Not every negative opinion deserves an emotional reaction. Some criticism contains valuable lessons, while some simply reflects another person's insecurity. The ability to remain objective instead of defensive demonstrates maturity. Instead of reacting impulsively, confident individuals evaluate criticism calmly, accept what is useful, and discard what serves no purpose. Patience is another characteristic of commanding presence. Many people rush every decision because they fear missing opportunities or appearing indecisive. Calm individuals rarely allow urgency to control them. They think carefully before responding, making choices based on wisdom rather than pressure. This deliberate approach creates an image of reliability because people trust those who remain steady during uncertain situations. Respect is not something you can force. It is something you consistently earn through character. Integrity, discipline, honesty, responsibility, and emotional stability gradually shape the way people perceive you. Temporary popularity can be gained through charm or entertainment, but lasting respect comes from consistent behavior over time. Your reputation is built by what you repeatedly do, especially when no one is watching. A powerful presence is ultimately the result of mastering yourself before attempting to influence others. The individual who controls emotions, speaks with purpose, keeps promises, maintains discipline, respects personal boundaries, and remains calm under pressure develops a quiet authority that cannot be manufactured. Such a person rarely needs to demand attention because confidence, consistency, and character naturally command respect wherever they go. Fear has one primary objective: to keep you exactly where you are. It whispers that the risk is too great, the timing is not right, and you are not prepared enough. It disguises itself as caution, logic, and responsibility, convincing you that waiting is the smartest choice. Meanwhile, opportunities quietly pass by. The most successful people are not those who never experience fear. They are the ones who refuse to let fear become the deciding factor in their lives. They understand that bold action creates opportunities that hesitation can never produce. Every meaningful achievement begins with uncertainty. There is no guarantee of success when you start a business, pursue a dream, change careers, or step into unfamiliar territory. If certainty were required before taking action, innovation would never exist. Every inventor, entrepreneur, leader, and visionary moved forward despite unanswered questions. They accepted that progress belongs to those who act before everything feels comfortable. Most people overestimate the cost of failure while underestimating the cost of inaction. They spend years worrying about what might go wrong without considering what will happen if they never try at all. Regret is often far heavier than failure. Failure teaches lessons, builds resilience, and creates wisdom. Inaction leaves only unanswered questions and missed opportunities. Years later, many people do not regret the mistakes they made nearly as much as the chances they never took. Bold action does not mean acting recklessly. It means making thoughtful decisions and then committing to them without endless hesitation. Many people become trapped in analysis. They gather information, seek advice, create plans, revise strategies, and continue preparing long after they already have enough knowledge to begin. Preparation is valuable, but there comes a moment when additional planning becomes another excuse to avoid action. Confidence grows only after movement begins. One reason people hesitate is the fear of judgment. They imagine that every mistake will be criticized and remembered forever. In reality, most people are too busy managing their own lives to pay lasting attention to yours. Even those who criticize often move on quickly, while you continue replaying imagined embarrassment in your mind. Once you realize that other people's opinions are temporary, it becomes much easier to pursue what truly matters. Another obstacle is perfectionism. Many people believe they must perform flawlessly on the first attempt. This unrealistic expectation creates unnecessary pressure and prevents progress. Every expert was once inexperienced. Every successful person was once uncertain. Every impressive achievement began with imperfect action. Improvement comes through repetition, feedback, and persistence, not through waiting until perfection magically appears. Confidence is strengthened through repeated exposure to discomfort. The first difficult conversation feels intimidating. The second becomes easier. The third begins to feel natural. The same principle applies to public speaking, leadership, business, relationships, and personal growth. Every time you face something uncomfortable instead of avoiding it, your mind learns that fear is survivable. Gradually, challenges that once seemed overwhelming become ordinary. People who achieve extraordinary results share another important characteristic. They take responsibility instead of making excuses. Excuses provide temporary comfort but permanent limitation. It is easy to blame circumstances, the economy, lack of support, difficult backgrounds, or bad luck. While challenges are real, focusing entirely on what you cannot control prevents you from improving what you can control. Responsibility shifts your attention toward action rather than complaint. Your daily habits determine whether boldness becomes part of your identity. Courage is not developed only during major life decisions. It is built through small choices every day. Speaking honestly when it would be easier to remain silent. Taking initiative instead of waiting for permission. Starting a project instead of endlessly discussing it, making difficult phone calls, introducing yourself to new people, asking questions, volunteering for responsibility. These seemingly ordinary actions strengthen the habit of decisive action. Fear often exaggerates worst-case scenarios while ignoring possible success. Your imagination becomes a powerful storyteller, creating images of rejection, embarrassment, and failure. Rarely does it spend equal energy imagining growth, opportunity, respect, or achievement. Learning to challenge fearful assumptions allows you to see situations more objectively. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" begin asking, "What if this decision changes my life for the better?" This simple shift in perspective creates space for possibility rather than limitation. Resilience is another essential quality of people who act boldly. Not every decision will produce immediate success. Some efforts will fail, some plans will require adjustment, some opportunities will disappear despite your best efforts. The difference is that resilient individuals refuse to interpret temporary setbacks as permanent defeat. They learn, adapt, improve, and continue moving forward. Every obstacle becomes part of their education rather than the end of their journey. Bold people also understand the importance of speed. This does not mean rushing carelessly into every situation. It means avoiding unnecessary delay once a decision has been made. Opportunities often reward those who act while others continue debating. Hesitation gives fear time to grow stronger. Action interrupts overthinking. Momentum replaces anxiety with progress because movement creates evidence that you are capable of handling challenges. The greatest transformations rarely happen while living inside familiar routines. Comfort may feel safe, but it also limits growth. Every new level of success requires a new level of courage. Every meaningful breakthrough demands that you leave behind the security of what is known and step into uncertainty with confidence. Those who consistently choose bold action discover abilities they never realized they possessed, opportunities they could never have predicted, and a level of self-belief that only comes from repeatedly proving to themselves that fear does not have the authority to decide their future. Dangerous confidence is not created in a single motivational moment. It is built through daily habits that shape the way you think, act, and respond to life. Many people believe confidence appears after success, but the truth is the opposite. Confidence is developed through consistent actions long before success becomes visible. Every habit you repeat either strengthens your belief in yourself or slowly weakens it. Your future is not determined by what you occasionally do. It is determined by what you repeatedly practice every day. The first habit of highly confident people is keeping promises to themselves. Anyone can make commitments when they feel inspired, but real confidence grows when you consistently follow through. even when motivation disappears. Every time you wake up at the time you promised, complete the task you planned, or finish what you started, you send a powerful message to your mind that your word has value. Self-trust becomes the foundation of lasting confidence because you no longer depend on emotions to determine your actions. Confident people also protect their mornings. They understand that the first hour of the day often determines the direction of everything that follows. Instead of immediately filling their minds with distractions, unnecessary notifications, or negative information, they begin the day with purpose. Some exercise, some read, some reflect, and some quietly prepare for the challenges ahead. These intentional routines create mental clarity before the outside world begins demanding their attention. Another habit is constant learning. Truly confident people never believe they know everything. They understand that growth requires curiosity. Every book they read, every skill they develop, every conversation they learn from, and every mistake they analyze adds another layer to their confidence. Knowledge reduces uncertainty because preparation increases capability. Instead of fearing situations they do not understand, they actively improve themselves until those situations become familiar. Physical discipline also plays a major role in confidence. The way you care for your body influences the way you feel about yourself. Regular exercise, healthy nutrition, quality sleep, and personal discipline create energy that affects every area of life. A strong body supports a strong mind. This is not about achieving perfection or comparing yourself to others. It is about proving to yourself that you are capable of consistent effort and self-control. Highly confident individuals are extremely careful about what they allow into their minds. They recognize that thoughts are influenced by what they repeatedly consume. Constant exposure to negativity, gossip, fear, and endless distractions slowly weakens mental strength. Instead, they choose books, conversations, educational material, and environments that encourage growth, discipline, and responsibility. They understand that protecting the mind is just as important as strengthening the body. Another powerful habit is embracing discomfort every day. Confident people intentionally challenge themselves because they know growth never happens inside complete comfort. They volunteer for difficult responsibilities, have conversations others avoid, learn unfamiliar skills, and place themselves in situations that require courage. Every uncomfortable experience expands their confidence because they repeatedly prove they can handle more than they previously believed. Time management is another defining characteristic. People with dangerous confidence understand that time is one of their most valuable resources. They do not allow every distraction to steal their attention. They plan their priorities, eliminate unnecessary activities, and remain focused on meaningful goals. Every productive day strengthens confidence because visible progress creates belief in future success. Wasted time, on the other hand, often creates guilt and self-doubt. Confident people also practice emotional discipline. They do not allow every mood to control their behavior. There will always be days when energy feels low or motivation disappears, but they continue moving forward because they have trained themselves to value consistency over emotion. This ability to act regardless of temporary feelings separates disciplined individuals from those who constantly wait until they feel inspired. Gratitude is another habit that strengthens confidence in unexpected ways. Many people constantly focus on what they lack, which creates frustration even when they have already made significant progress. Confident individuals appreciate what they have while continuing to pursue greater goals. Gratitude creates emotional stability because it shifts attention away from constant dissatisfaction and toward recognizing opportunities that already exist. One of the strongest habits of confident people is limiting unnecessary comparison. They understand that comparing themselves to everyone around them only creates distraction and insecurity. Instead of competing with every person they encounter, they compete with yesterday's version of themselves. They measure growth by their own improvement rather than someone else's achievements. This mindset keeps their attention focused on personal progress instead of external validation. Another daily practice is speaking with intention. Confident individuals avoid complaining, making excuses, or constantly speaking negatively about themselves. They understand that repeated words eventually become repeated beliefs. By choosing language that reflects responsibility, possibility, and determination, they strengthen the mindset they wish to develop. Their conversations become aligned with their goals rather than their fears. Reflection is another essential habit. At the end of each day, confident people evaluate their actions honestly. They recognize successes, identify mistakes, and think about how they can improve tomorrow. They do not punish themselves for imperfection, nor do they ignore opportunities to grow. This consistent self-evaluation creates continuous improvement because every day becomes another opportunity to become stronger than the day before. Perhaps the most important habit is refusing to quit after temporary setbacks. Life will always include disappointments, criticism, unexpected obstacles, and moments of uncertainty. Highly confident people expect these challenges instead of being surprised by them. They understand that persistence often matters more than talent because consistent effort eventually overcomes obstacles that cause others to give up. Every setback becomes another opportunity to strengthen resilience, deepen self-belief, and continue building the quiet, disciplined confidence that cannot be shaken by failure, fear, or the opinions of others.